Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth. This is man, the King of Truth. King Truth is our lie. Coming on this Knowledge Culture Freedom Day, right? I'm sorry. Be the day the 15th. Knowledge Power Refinement Day equals equality, right? So I'm gonna leave it like that, right? Let y'all do the math, right? I spilled some water on my shirt, right? But I wanna talk about OJ for a minute, man. Then I'm gonna be gone. You know what I'm saying? I didn't put the that ebook coming. I think that's the best, quickest way to get it out. So it's coming. And I didn't put the 1 to 10 student enrollment into the nation of God's and earth. And I put the 1 to 14 on my Instagram, right? So y'all check that. King Truth is _7. Something like that, man. But OJ, right? Now I guess with more people paying attention, I guess what I'm finna say I have more of an impact, right? Now I got a video on my YouTube. I'm thinking I can't remember if I put it on my I can't remember if I got it on my computer in the cloud or something, but I got a video. I got a green and white shirt or polo on. It ain't polo, but it's a green and white polo style shirt, right? And I talk about OJ. I think that's the one it is, but I'm gonna break it down again, right? I'm gonna strive to break it down. I'm trying to bring some clarity, right? You gotta do your homework on OJ, right? You gotta do your homework, right? It's some books and documentaries out there about OJ and him being a murderer, right? A lot of fiction movies. But OJ ain't do it. And so man, he in some deep stuff. This some deep stuff. Cause he really ain't do it. And I don't know what's going on. But what it's doing is identifying people that are racist. Right? It's identifying people that are racist, and it's setting a bad light on racist people still today in America. Now, OJ, first of all, was found not guilty, and it was what they say it was a 9-month. What did they say? It was a 9-week trial or a 9-month trial? I think it was a 9-week trial. 9 week. It was 9 weeks and 9 months, right? And it was a jury trial. So the jury people that didn't know personally OJ, they listened to all the testimony and all the evidence. And after 9 weeks, I think it was 9 weeks and 9 months, 9 weeks, they found OJ not guilty. Right? They found him not guilty. Johnny Cochran said that the key to defending a huge amount of evidence is responding to all the evidence, answering all the evidence put into trial, right? Submitted into evidence, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit Z. I think it had all the way to Z. And Johnny Cochran said, the key to the good defense is addressing all the evidence put into evidence, right? All the evidence submitted in the trial, had to be answered. He left nothing but for the jury to assume on their own, right? So a shirt, a tie, a drop of blood, everything was addressed, answered, trying to destroy all negative evidence, put into the case, the trial, right? So after that, so that's 2 weeks. So that's 2 months, right? It was 9 weeks is like 2 months, right? And they found him not guilty. So just, riding along, it's some audio books, and I like to listen to audio books as I drive, as I ride, as I work. I like to listen to audio books, right? So I listened to a couple of these audio books. And what get past people, what gets I think a mosquito that bit me. What gets past people is where OJ was when he was notified that his ex-wife had been killed, right? And so what get past people? OJ was in Chicago. He was in Chicago, Illinois. He had a interview at some network to be a football sports analyst, right? So he was pre-scheduled to be in Chicago for this interview, and he was gonna play some golf, right? So the night of the murder, OJ, or the day of the murder and the time after they discovered the bodies was the same day. Somebody called OJ, the police called OJ and notified him of the murder and asked him could he come back to California. OJ said okay. So he come back to California. He come back to California, right? And that chase happened, and then they locked him up, and he was acting all crazy. I don't know what that's about. People said made him look guilty or whatever. I don't know what. I think OJ got back and felt like they was trying to, pin a murder on, frame him for a murder. They was trying to frame him for a murder. So now, a lot of real life documentary police shows I watch. And, these things are teaching shows. They teach, right? Forensic files, FBI files, cold case files, First 48. They all teach you how to solve a murder. How to track a murder, how to solve a murder. And like certain things, have to be known, to begin to solve a murder. And one of those things is the time of death of the victims. And so forensic files and FBI files and coroners that the detectives go interview have to go meet with the medical examiner. right? They go to the medical examiner and find out the actual cause of death and the time of death. See the time of death and cause of death is important for the detectives to begin their investigation, right? This is my Uncle Meg's chain. You understand? That's Uncle Mel. You understand? So, but yeah, man. So, these first two things have to be known for this, so the homicide detectives can know how to proceed. Even if it's a murder or not. See, somebody could die by natural causes, heart attack, stroke, self-suicide, self-infliction. You see what I'm saying? So time of death and cause of death have to be known, right? So, so Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman Jr. had a time of death and a cause of death, right? Now, far as I know, far as I've seen, just following along, halfway following along this case over this many years, we have not heard the time of death. And they say the cause of death was multiple stab wounds, right? Multiple stab. My hand I'm scratching my hand. I think I got a mosquito bite, but so the cause of death is stabbing, multiple stab wounds. And the time of death is unknown, but forensic files and cold case files and First 48, they work back from the time of discovery, and the time of discovery that the deceased person or persons are found. They need that. The medical examiner needs the time of discovery to work back, and they use a scientific method of checking the temperature of the liver. See what I'm saying? But if the body is left to can, sometimes it's hard. They have other methods of estimating a time of death. See, from a time of death, people need alibis and things of that nature, right? So they take the time of discovery and say, so if the police get a 911 call at 10 p.m. and the ambulance show up and they take the body to the city morgue, the county morgue, because they dead already, and the medical examiner will perform an autopsy. And when they perform the autopsy, they're gonna tell you the cause of death, and then they will try to determine the time of death. So time of death and time of discovery is very important in proving the innocence or guilt of O.J. Simpson of Orenthal. You see what I'm saying? Right, so now, remember, when he got the call the same night, he was in Chicago, Illinois. So I don't know the time, but to prove O.J. innocent, you need a timeline, right? You need a time of discovery and a time of death and a cause of death. You see what I'm saying? With O.J. leaving the state of California via LAX on a commercial flight with his real life personal assistant, right? See what I'm saying? So say, for example, O.J. left California at 6 p.m. the day of the murders, right? He left California at 6 p.m. And it's, I don't know, you gotta go online, look up, put in flight information, how long it takes to get to LAX to O'Hare, Chicago airport. I guess about 8 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours, non-stop. You see what I'm saying? So, and California on Central Time. So, I mean, Chicago on Central Time. So they 2 hours ahead of California. So if OJ left at California at 6 p.m., he would be leaving, he would be getting to Chicago O'Hare if it's an 8-hour flight with no stops. And so that'd be 8. So that'd be like 2 in the morning, something like that, right? He got there 2 in the morning, and he said he was in the bed asleep, and he got the call, and he got on the plane and come right back, right? Now, but if he left earlier, say he left at 4 p.m., right? It's an 8-hour, so it's 6, and so he still get to Chicago like at 2 a.m. in the morning. See what I'm saying? The next day, because Chicago is 3 hours behind everybody in the U.S. They 3 hours behind. You got Pacific Standard Time, you got Mountain Standard Time, you got Central Standard Time, and you got Eastern Standard Time Zone, right? So it's, what is that? Pacific, Mountain, Central, East. So you got 4 time zones in the United States of America that people live under, right? And California is 3 hours behind everybody. So they like, the last ones to wake up, right? So, so now you got OJ's, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman Jr. has a time of death. So if OJ left, he didn't go to the, he went to his children's recital, but, he didn't go to the restaurant to celebrate their recital and eat and hang with, his ex-family in-laws, right? So, some say he went home and packed. If he left California at 5 p.m., Goldman and Nicole Brown still alive. And so what the general public don't know is the time of death of them and the time OJ left California going to Chicago. That's an airtight alibi. He on the plane in the air on a commercial, not a private plane where you can, he took a commercial flight with his personal assistant to Chicago. See what I'm saying? So he didn't do it. He couldn't have done it. Now, so you say, well, you got to prove that. So if OJ leave at 4 p.m. California time, 5 p.m. California time, 6 p.m. California time, you got to do the time of death, and you have to check Nicole Brown Simpson house phone records. I'm pretty sure she received some phone calls. We can assume at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. She answered the phone and OJ is in the air. So you see what I'm saying? So when she is alive, OJ is not in the state of California. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? But, one way to exactly prove what I'm saying is you got to get the timeline, his departure time from California, his arrival time in Chicago, and their time of death, and the time of discovery that their body was found. Now these television shows and movie shows, it was late. It was 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. that when their body was found, and didn't nobody hear nothing. Now, I said, they ran all the 911 tapes of OJ and Nicole arguing. Well, OJ get very loud. And so this particular time, no one heard nothing at Nicole Brown Simpson house. No one heard there's 3 people arguing. Nobody heard nothing. They say Ron Goldman Jr. was a high degree black belt and knew how to defend himself. Knew how to defend himself against knife attacks. Right? And so they were stabbed repeatedly and ain't nobody heard nothing. Like he couldn't run next door and call the police. Or, OJ grabbed 2 grown people that probably wanted to kill him as well. And, one of them couldn't get away. So, he didn't do it. He wasn't even in the state of California. So I say, man, you need to get your money back from Johnny Cochran and shit, right? That's, you didn't do it. And, before Johnny Cochran passed, I heard Johnny Cochran say that the LAPD, whoever the Los Angeles County wanted to prosecute and charge OJ, so he needed, legal defense, but somebody slipping on that time of death. See, I don't think that their time of death has ever been revealed versus OJ's time of departure. See, the time of death and time of departure. See what I'm saying? So, and then, you got OJ with that video, if I did it, this, and so he said they ain't find no blood in the house. And when you kill, and so CSI, crime scene investigation, forensics teach us Blood's fictional TV show Dexter. He was a crime scene analyst, and he was the blood splatter man, and so they teach it this, but that's real science. Blood splatter is real science. It'll tell you, the velocity of the blood landing and what was used, blunt force, a knife, a gun, a fist, you see what I'm saying, based on how the blood lands when it comes from your body. So, and then they tell you blood, just a drop of blood, somebody else blood on you in a murder is a sign of guilt if you can't explain that blood. So he killed, so they want us to believe he killed 2 grown people with probably 50 stab wounds. And then in his video, he say they didn't find no trail of blood in the house. That much blood. If he didn't go no, he couldn't. And so they said he went home. And he went home after he killed them, showered, hid the bloody clothes, then he went to Chicago. Well, he would attract blood from all the way from their house to his house, right? Brentwood, right? He would have left blood droplets and went in the house, and blood would have been everywhere. And so I seen an episode of CSI. If he got in the shower, done that shit, like somebody washed their hands with blood, and they got the P-trap. They took the P-trap off of the sink trying to find blood. It would have been 3 DNAs in OJ house and present in 2 different blood types and found in OJ house or his car or whatever. And then somebody said, well, he took the bloody clothes to Chicago, but he brought them back? That don't make no sense. So, you know, the time of death versus OJ's time of departure. And so I'm willing to bet, you know what I'm saying, OJ had left the state of California, before they was killed. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, you know, like, you know, he say, you know, they say Ron Goldman called Nicole and told her she left some expensive, left some Cartiers or some Gucci's at the restaurant, and, you know, can he bring them over there or whatever. And so, and so what time was that? You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at the time of death versus the time of departure. See what I'm saying? So, time of death, the police scientific method of their time of death must match OJ being in the state of California. That was an easy case if they was on that science, the time of death versus time of departure. You know what? You know, whether they want to charge him or not, the double homicide charges on OJ should have been dismissed based on his time of departure. I'm pretty sure it had to be, you know, early enough where, you know, he didn't do it. See what I'm saying? So they went through 9 weeks of trial for nothing, and all they had to do was compare his time of departure with Nicole Brown Simpson phone records, Ron Goldman, if he had a cell phone or some, you know, his whereabouts versus their time of death. And then you track back from time the bodies was found. You got to track back like what time this happened. That's the time of death. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I don't think OJ did it, man. You understand? That nigga, he in some deep shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think OJ a coon or no shit like this, man. It's just, you know, he wanted to elevate, man. He wanted to lead a hood and have better, do better. You know, if you know better, you do better. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, man, I don't think he sold out or nothing, man. It's just what it was, but don't mean you gotta frame him for murder. You know, they say Mark Furman framed him. You know, he planted the blood and planted the gloves. Say he done that. So OJ was in some deep stuff, man. And you know, I don't think, you know, he was, and you know, he should. And I say this in the other video I did, the movie I did. I've been robbed. Somebody broke in my house and stole some of my belongings, right? They stole, some belongings. They stole radios, TVs, clothes, gun. You see what I'm saying? Leathers and shit, checkbooks. I've been robbed, right? I was away. I wasn't even in the state of Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And so, OJ went to jail because he took the law into his own hands, right? That's ignorant, right? He took, he wanted to, he felt he was robbed during a move. Somebody took some of his football, his old football items and tried to sell them, and he found out about them and went to go to confront the dudes, and he held them in the hotel room. Now, OJ wrong. He should have called the police and asked the police to meet him at the hotel and let them go in first and sort it out. See what I'm saying? They would have probably had OJ buy the goods and then sue the dudes or something. Verify. It's here, but him bringing the crew, the posse with him, is wrong. If you can't take the law into your own hands, man. You see what I'm saying? You see, and I don't, Detroit's so fucked up. If I seen a dude with my coat on, I got a Pelly. I still my Pelly, right? It was a Detroit custom Pelly. Yep. It was white and blue, had all the streets of Detroit on it, right? And if I see a dude with that, and it's the dudes that that I believe that did it, I could confront the dude, but I'll be wrong. The first thing I should do, since I got a police report about it, is call the police since I see this dude with my shit on. I've been home and the police call it a home invasion 1 when you at home and somebody come in there, and a home invasion 2 when you're not at home. You see what I'm saying? And it's commercial, so and it's burglary if you break into a store. You see what I'm saying? While it's closed. You see what I'm saying? So I was a victim of home invasion 2. See what I'm saying? I wasn't home, and niggas made off with my shit. I was slipping, ain't have the burglar alarm set up and nothing like that. I admit to slipping, but I ain't never had a problem over there to them niggas that I know from my own neighborhood. Want to run up on me. They don't haters, jealous, whatever. Right? So I can't. I would be a fool to go to their house. Even if somebody got it on good information that I seen them with your stuff, they took it to their house. I would be a fool to go to their house to confront them, because it's gonna get ugly if they let me in, or I see them in my shit when they open the door, see my shit in their house. You see what I'm saying? I didn't went to jail, especially if I got a gun. You see what I'm saying? I didn't went to jail. So so that ain't street, taking the law in your own. That's not street. That's foolishness, and it ain't snitching. If you tell on somebody that crossed you and you ain't done nothing to them, you don't owe them. That ain't snitching. I'm a victim of a home invasion when I wasn't home by some hoe ass niggas. You understand? So ain't no taking the law into your own hand. And OJ took the law to his own hands, and he paid the price for that. He had to go to jail. Now, what's the sin of heart? Yeah, he probably think they weren't gonna give him that, but that's the racism. That's the race card in America. People believe OJ killed 2 white people and got away with it. See what I'm saying? So I don't think that's the case, man. We gotta find just those pieces of information, a timeline. You gotta have a right and exact timeline to show and prove OJ didn't do it. And so I don't think he did it. I think, OJ had left the state of California. When he left the state of California, they was alive. And it's just, to me, it's a simple open and shut case. So, man, I don't know if they trying to fleece OJ. Everybody trying to, from the defense lawyers to the prosecution to the court to the Brown family to the Goldman family. I don't know. They trying to extort, fleece, gank OJ, scam OJ out of his money. See what I'm saying? I'd have been like, well, what time did they die? If they died at 9 p.m., I was in the air. I was on my way to Chicago. They died at 10 p.m., I was gone. You see what I'm saying? 8 p.m., I was gone. California time, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. And so I heard the pilot say, the pilots of the flight OJ was on say, nobody asked them nothing about the time or nothing. The pilot said that, and his personal assistant, I don't think, was called as a witness to tell you the time that they left California and what OJ was doing. up until the time he left California. See what I'm saying? So, I don't know, they trying to shake down OJ, man. You know, something. But I don't think he did it. You understand? So, you know, I hope this help and explain. You know, y'all gotta know the science of crime solving. You know, it's deduction, it's, you know, it's forensics, as, you know, it's DNA, you know, it's blood splatter, you know, that's the science. It's lie detection. You know, these are all scientific, tried and true methods of crime solving by police departments all over the world. All over the world. See what I'm saying? So I don't think OJ did it, man. I'm out. Peace.